Hello and welcome. This is Angie with thecountrychiccottage.net. Today we're going to use Testors Craft spray paints as well as Testors Craft acrylics to make some sheet pan wreaths. And yes, this video is sponsored by Testors, however all projects and opinions are my own. So what is a sheet pan wreath? Well, it's a wreath or door hanger made from, in this case, a pizza pan. So I'm going to turn pizza pans into cute door hangers. These two look like ornaments, right? So a Santa Claus belly ornament, and then this one is polka dot, and I actually added a monogram to that, so you can add a monogram to these. Or if you don't like the ornament look, then you can add some greenery and a bow to the top, and maybe some vinyl if you wanted to, or stencil on a saying on the front. So head to the dollar store first, pick up pizza pans, foam, few other supplies, and break out those Testors craft paints to make some wreaths or door hangers. So let's take a look at the supplies you'll need. The supplies you're going to need are as follows. You'll of course need your pizza pan. So this is like a small 10-inch pizza pan. Any size will work, but I did make a free printable template for the tops of our ornaments, and you might want to make this larger if you have a larger pizza pan. Then you need scissors. We're actually going to use hangers to hang this by, so just plain metal coat hangers. A couple sheets of just craft foam, and I mean one sheet is fine if you're going to make one ornament, but if you're going to make multiple ones, you might need multiple sheets. And then you're going to need Testors paint. We're going to use a variety of spray paint as well as acrylic paint. So the first one I'm going to make is like a Santa themed, so I'm going to use red regular and red glitter on my pizza pan, and then we're going to add some accents with gold and black acrylic paint. The second one I'm going to do in a green spray paint, and then add accents in red and white craft paint. I'm also going to use silver craft paint for the tops of these ornaments, so you'll need the silver no matter what. And then the final one, we're going to make a version with gold spray paint, and I'm going to use the regular as well as the glitter, and then I'm going to put vinyl on the top. So if you have a Cricut machine, the third one would be something that you might make. So let's get started by heading outside and spray painting our pizza pans first. And you can use either the front or the back. Like, it does not matter, whichever one you like better for hanging on your door. I think I'll probably use the front, spray paint the front with my spray paint, but again, completely up to you which side you use. So let's head outside with our spray paint. So while those sheet pans dry, let's make our ornament toppers. To do that, we're going to use a white foam sheet and then this free printable template that you can find on thecountrychiccottage.net, and I am going to link to that in the description below. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a pair of scissors to cut this out, and I'm just going to roughly trace the template onto the foam with a permanent marker. Now the file will be such that you could definitely use like your Cricut machine to cut this out. It's definitely not, required or necessary, but if you are feeling like you want to use your Cricut, feel free to do so. So I'm going to cut 3 of these out. So then you can just use regular scissors to cut these out. You can either try really hard, stay inside of those marker lines, or you can consider this the back of your ornament topper and use the opposite side. So that way I don't have to be super precise. And if there are some marker lines left on there, you won't see it from the opposite side. So I'm going to go ahead and continue and make 3 of these ornament toppers, and then we'll paint them. So the first thing we're going to do is use black paint. So we're going to use black and silver. The first thing we're going to do is use black and just get a little bit on your brush and go up the lines in the middle. We do want this to be fairly faint. And then I'll also use this to go up the sides. And once we have that, I mean, you don't even have to wait for it to dry. We can start adding this silver. So what we're going to do is add a light coat of silver over the top of this. And I am adding it over the entire thing, including those lines. So they're going to turn like a gray, and you may get some black in your silver paint, and that's okay too. So now this is starting to look more like a rustic hanger that you might find on your ornaments. So we're going to set these aside and allow them to dry. So let's make the Santa version of this door hanger first. So we'll want a Santa belt across the middle with a cute little buckle in the center. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use painter's tape. You could absolutely freehand this. So let's mask off a buckle first. And I'm just going to do a rectangle for the buckle. And I want it approximately in the center of the plate. So there's a rectangle approximately in the center. And then I'm going to use Testors Craft Gold and Glitter Burst. So I'm going to add the gold first to the rectangle. And I do want to note here, I let this spray paint cure for 24 hours before adding the painter's tape to it. If you don't let it cure, the tape could pull some of your paint off, so just to note that. So we'll give it a good coat of gold, and then we'll go directly into this glitter burst just with the exact same paintbrush and everything, and just add some glitter touches to this belt buckle. So while the paint is still wet, we'll just carefully peel up this painter's tape, and we're going to allow this to dry a little bit. So this gold is dry, but probably not dry enough to tape over the top, so I'm just going to use my tape kind of as a guideline and go just right up against the gold with my paintbrush. And this black will make Santa's belt. And I'll just repeat the same procedure on both sides. And then to make the center look just more like a belt buckle, you just want to paint the very middle with a little bit of black. Then we can just peel back the tape and allow this to dry completely. While our Santa sheet pan dries, let's move on to our green sheet pan. For this one, we're going to do polka dots. So I have a couple of different sizes of stencil brushes. So these are round sponge brushes that will help us make our dots. And we're going to make those in red and white. For each dot, we'll dip the brush into the paint and get it nice and loaded up. And then we're just going to randomly add polka dots. So press the brush down, turn it slightly, and lift up. You should get something that is similar to a circle. Now you may have to take a paintbrush and sort of fix the edges in the middle, but the brush gets you close enough to a circle where you don't need anything else to actually make the circle. Also, these may require 2 coats. So we'll do 1 coat, allow it to dry, and then go over it a second time in the same way as we are now. So I'll just continue making white and red polka dots. This is after 2 coats on each of the dots, and we're going to set this one aside and allow it to dry, and we'll work on our gold sheet pan. So for this final sheet pan, I have cut some vinyl on my Cricut machine, and I'm going to add it to the center. You could also use a stencil and paint something in the center, anything like that, or use one of the other techniques we've already shown, but I wanted to show a version where we added a Happy Holidays sentiment to the center of the sheet pan using vinyl. And I am using a permanent or outdoor vinyl. That way it'll stay on even if it's in the weather. Now that I have that on the transfer tape, I'll just add that approximately to the center of the sheet pan. And then we'll just burnish that down really well. And remove the transfer tape, leaving the vinyl on the sheet pan. We can just rub each letter down gently to make sure it's stuck. And now we can finish off our sheet pan wreaths. Alright, so if you want to finish your sheet pan off to look like an ornament, we're going to use our ornament topper. We're going to use a piece of wire. This can be from a coat hanger, does not matter, just cut a piece of wire off, shape it like a hanger would be for an ornament, and it should almost be the width of the template that we made for the ornament hangers. And then we're just going to use a little hot glue. We're going to put the topper on our ornament first. Then we're going to flip this over, and you want to secure this wire to the back of your sheet pan, not to the foam. So I'm going to secure that with lots of hot glue, hold it in place until it cools, and then we'll have one sheet pan wreath ready for our door. Now, what if you don't want it to look like an ornament? Well, you could add like a bow and some greenery like this to the top and just kind of make it a door hanging like that. So again, we would just use hot glue to secure it into place. When you're doing it this way, you will need something to hang it on the door. So I would recommend using hot glue and just a loop of ribbon on the back. So just put a piece of the same ribbon or a different ribbon on the back, just in a loop, just to have something to hang it by. And there you have a sheet pan wreath with like an elegant touch. So here I've added that loop of ribbon to the back, and this one is ready for the front door. All right, and finally for our polka dot version. So I want it to look like an ornament. However, I do want to add a single monogram to the middle. I've cut mine out of vinyl. You could definitely use a stencil or just freehand one with paint. I don't feel like I'm that good today, so I'm just made a vinyl sticker with my Cricut, and I'm not even going to use transfer tape. I'm just going to pop this on here, and I use like a silver. We'll just rub that on really well. And then we'll repeat the same procedure as we did for the Santa Claus. So we'll add the ornament topper. And then we'll add the wire to the back to look like an ornament, again with lots of hot glue onto the back. All right, so here's the final look at that monogrammed polka dot ornament door hanger. This one I think is my favorite, followed closely by that gold with the vinyl on it for happy holidays. And then, of course, I mean, we cannot forget the Santa belly, right? So I'm kind of obsessed with Santa belly anything. It's like his little belt on tons of different decor around the holidays. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something new and are ready to create a project. If you did, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. If you have any questions about anything we covered today, anything we made, just any questions in general, you can feel free to drop down to the comment section. You can also tell us which of these is your favorite in that comment section as well. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have crafty videos every week and I don't want you to miss any of those. So I hope you will head out, grab those Testors craft paints and make a door hanger for your home this holiday season out of a simple pizza pan. So thank y'all so much for joining me and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.